Hello and welcome to Dee Dee Blooms. I'm out here on my back patio doing some watering. It's a pretty warm day, 88 degrees in the shade, 51% humidity. It's a beautiful summer day. Got a little bit of a breeze coming through here and there. And I am wanting to show you guys what is blooming for me out here in the back patio. I've been a little behind on my videos once again. Life happens, and but here we are. So let's get right to showing you what's been in bloom. So I'm going to start with this Zygopetalum here. It's a beautiful, good size Zygopetalum. I've got 2 flower spikes. This is my let's see here, Debbie DeMello Honolulu Baby crossed with Aganesia cyanea. Isn't she gorgeous? And one of the things I just love about the flowers on this one, this is the second time she's bloomed for me. I've had her going on a little over 2 years, I think now. I love the white outline of the lip. Most Zygopetalums, you have like the stripes of the purple or magenta or even reddish color on the lip. This one has a beautiful outline of white, and I think it just catches the eye, like someone painted the white on the edges. And then the petals and sepals are kind of like a brownish gray, which reminds me of chocolate. I just think it's a beautiful contrast to the deep purple lip. So pretty, and the camera does not do it justice. And it's a good sized plant. It's grown really well for me. I was growing it indoors for the first year, and now the second year it's been outside. I have it growing up in the top shelf back here, corner of my patio. This caddy shelf there, and it has, like I said, been growing wonderful. This is my second repot of it, so it's gotten bigger and bigger, but it's staying pretty compact. And one of the things I really like about this one is that the leaves are very upright compared to some of my other Zygopetalums where the leaves just kind of all slough over from their own weight. This one kind of like this, but this one stays really upright so far. So I don't know if it's just I'm lucky or not, but I really like the growing pattern. And again, we have 2 flower spikes here. This one is growing really wonky. It like decided to take a right turn all of a sudden. But I got a whole bunch of buds developing, and I'm just loving this show. Hope I'm not making you guys dizzy. The one flower that's open all upside down. Really enjoy it. Now, as far as fragrance, I've detected a little bit of fragrance, usually in the morning, but it's not very fragrant compared to other Zygopetalums, and that might be because of the Aganesia in the cross. Not sure. So let's circle around the back of it here. I've got my Vanda Peaches in bloom. This is a Vanda falcata crossed with Vanda curvifolia, and she is doing fantastic. I bought this one, I've had over 3 years, and she bloomed for me the first time last year. I thought I just was not going to be successful with these. Well, now here we are the second year, and it's a bigger flower spike, a lot more buds. I think I've hit the care regimen that she likes. I was first growing this indoors for the first 2 years, and now this last year she's been just completely outside. Again, I'm in Southern California, so I have very mild winters, pretty hot summers, and she's been thriving, just been doing great. And she's got a real dark color this year. I think she was darker when she bloomed last year too, but this just seems a little deeper. If I can find an older picture of her first bloom for me, I'll show it to you. And if I remember correctly, Vanda Peaches will bloom darker depending on higher light. So I think because she does get a few good hours of direct morning eastern light every morning. So that might be why she's such a darker flowered variety. Very, very pretty. And I'm not really detecting a fragrance either. So if she's supposed to be fragrant, I'm not catching it at the right time of day, or not sure. Next is my Cattleytonia, why not? This is a Bratonia sanguine crossed with a Cattleya aurantiaca. And I got this one from Diamond Orchids a couple years ago now, or coming up on 2 years. This is the second time she's bloomed for me, and her blooms are petite and just gorgeous. I don't detect any fragrance. I've been really enjoying the deep yellow center and just the pretty pink, red, magenta, almost purpley colors of the lip and the petals and the sepals. Just a really pretty one, and so far very, very easy to grow. She's been in bloom now for a good almost 3 weeks, so she's doing great, and she's lovely. And this one grows very nice and upright. I've repotted her a couple times, and I'm going to be repotting her again. Look at all these roots from the second to last growth, actually. The one that she bloomed before, which actually aborted the leaves. So this is where she bloomed from, but put all these roots. They've been great. I'm getting some new roots that have gone down in the pot from the new growth that is blooming. So it might be okay to repot her after she's done blooming, but I'll definitely pay attention to the roots. If I have some good new root tips, I will repot her. Next up is my Neofinetia falcata. This is Holy Cow crossed with Robust. This I got as a division from an Etsy vendor 3 years ago. So a lot of my plants are coming up on 3 years when I started my collection. And this particular one I struggled with. I grew this one indoors for the first actually year and a half, almost 2 years. And so I moved it outside because it was never blooming for me. It wasn't growing. It didn't seem like it was growing very well. I repotted it a couple times. So it's been in this clay pot. It's not in an inner pot. It's just planted directly. And it started taking off in the clay pot. It seems to really enjoy it. There's large bark and some moss inside. And so last year it put out several spikes, and every single one of the buds blasted. And I don't know, I have a feeling it might have been because I wasn't watering enough, that the plant couldn't support the buds. But I was really, really sad because this is a division from a blooming size plant. And this year I have 4 flower spikes, and they all look wonderful. They're maturing wonderfully. I've been paying more attention to watering twice a week. This one, and she is now blooming, and she's got a lovely fragrance. Very sweet like candy fragrance. And I'm really enjoying Neofinetia falcatas. I want to show you what's blooming indoors after I get through showing you what's in bloom outdoors. And I have some other Neofinetia types to show you. The next one is my LC Gold Digger or Glades Mandarin. This one has bloomed for me before, and I just have to say it's one of my favorites. She just has this golden yellow, almost getting to the point of an orange, hints in the yellow color, and a beautiful dark red inner lip. And she's just a bold colored, beautiful Cattleya type. And I love her growth pattern. It's very compact. She's an alternating bifoliate. So most of the growths come out with 2 leaves, but then all of a sudden one of the growths will have 1 leaf. This one that's blooming has one leaf. In the time before that she bloomed, had 2 leaves, if I remember correctly. Nope, it was just, sorry, it's over here. It was just 1 leaf as well. So maybe when it comes out with 2 leaves, I'll know it's not gonna bloom for me. But she's already putting out a new growth. So she's been real happy in this clay pot. I repotted her February of this year, 2024. So she's just been doing great in the clay pot. I mostly have the majority of my orchids all in inner pots, and then I'll have decorative outer pots. So I'm starting to experiment more with just clay pots. And this one grew the majority of the time I've had This is also an Etsy vendor purchase that I've had for 3 years, about the same time that I got. This is a division, same time I got, and maybe even same vendor. Might have got both of these from the same vendor. But growing indoors the majority of the time, but this last spring, so she's only been growing outdoors now since this spring of 2024. Doing great. I'm just gonna jump up around here. I've got some buds developing on an epidendrum of mine that I got from Cal Orchid 2 years ago now. I think it's been 2 years. Actually, it might have been spring 2023. So this will be the second time this one's blooming for me. Pacific Classic Pom Pom crossed with Pacific Playa Party Boy. And it looks like fireworks, orange and beautiful yellows, and I got 2 flower spikes. Very excited. Gonna swing around real quick. Here's some of my plumerias. It's not orchids, but I love my plumerias. And they smell so good. If anyone grows plumerias, they are just some of the best scented flowering ever. I've been growing these for a few years as well. When I first started really getting into different types of orchids, I started growing this plant and this plant, which are my biggest. I've had them the longest for about 3.5 years. They started as just little sticks with a few leaves. So in a few years, I've got some really nice sized plants. And then I got this division from a friend a couple years ago, and it's been maturing nicely. And this is a newer acquisition that's going to be this beautiful, beautiful deep red. Can't wait for it to bloom for me someday. It's a newer plant. It might still bloom for me this season. But coming over here back to orchids, I've got a huge reed stem, no ID epidendrum, which I need to repot. I got a nice new pot here. I need to find a bigger inner pot, but it's fallen over on me. It needs a lot of work, but it grew a whole bunch of keikis that have bloomed for me. So you can see all the spots of color, and some of the main stems from the main plant threw up all these flower spikes. And look at all that beautiful pops of color. I really do enjoy. I'm trying to give you a closer look. These like just little bursts of beautiful flowers. They're so cute. They're so cute. Love them. And they just keep blooming. They just keep going and going. So swinging back around here, we have what I call my piece de resistance, a very proud moment out here on the patio. I've been growing this Encyclia Phoenicia SVO Hot Lips crossed with Encyclia Darkwings Darkest for over 3 years. And it has finally bloomed for me. When I bought it over 3 years ago, it was actually in spike and had beautiful flowers that were just going over. So I never saw the full show because half of the flower spike was already lost their flowers. And it took all this time for it to grow a number of growths for me. It's a beautiful, compact little bulbed Encyclia, but it never spiked. And I was growing it indoors for the first 1.5 years. And so the last 1.5 years, I moved it outdoors. I didn't know what else to do because it was a blooming size plant and not blooming for me. But this season, yay, you can see there's 2 flower spikes, and the flowers smell like chocolate, which Encyclias are known for. Just wonderful, awesome. I got more buds to open, and this has taken months and months. When I first saw the nubbin of the spikes, so we're talking like 6-7 months ago, I saw the first nubbins of the spikes. And so the spikes have taken forever to elongate, and then the buds developing. And then I had mealybugs attacking the flower buds. So there was a battle ensuing, and I thought, I'm gonna lose them to the mealybugs. They're gonna damage, and I'm gonna get bud blast. But they didn't. I won that war. And I really love this one. And I got it from Sunset Valley Orchids. I don't know if they still have it, but there's the tag information again. Beautiful. So I want to insert some blooms that happened before this video was taken, and make sure you get to see everything that's been going on out on the patio. This is my Macrolinium Confertum Romanense, and she was fragrant and tiny and gorgeous. Highly recommend this miniature. This next one is a beautiful Cattleya hybrid, Epidendrum Volcano Trick, and she was in bloom for a good 6 weeks. Next is my BL Richard Mueller, and it's just the straight Richard Mueller hybrid. It's a 4N crossed with Self. Next is a beautiful little dendrobium that was in bloom for, gosh, close to 3 months. And it's very similar to the Cattleya on my table I showed you. This is Dendrobium Orange Chinsai. And then, of course, we have little friends that peek up every so often that help us keep our garden clean and not too full of pests. I just had to introduce you to a friend of mine. This little guy has been hanging around in my plumerias, and I just love him. He's so adorable. The next orchid, actually it's not an orchid, I'm sorry, is my spider plant, which is up by my front entrance door. And did you know that spider plants bloom? I guess all plants have some way of blooming. I just thought it was so pretty. And then one of my carnivorous plants here, the Venus flytrap. Just giving you a little snippet of what it looks like, but it's blooms amazingly. So I had no idea how gorgeous the blooms on a Venus flytrap are. So I want to say it flowered about a good 6 flowers, and it was in bloom for close to a few months. Next is my Zygopetalum. Gotta get the tag here. This was in bloom for about 4 weeks, and it's actually Gallopetalum Starburst Parkside, and it was very fragrant, a spicy fragrance. Next is my Proctvala Key Lime Stars, a very reliable bloomer. I featured her in many bloom videos, and she gave me 3 beautiful blooms recently. Another non-orchid that bloomed for me is this little miniature sedum, and it's Sedum Little Missy. And I just fell in love with her when I went to an orchid show, and she was sitting there, and she just bloomed profusely for me for a good 6 weeks. Those little, see my finger there? Teeny tiny, adorable blossoms. I really enjoyed this little sedum, and I encourage everyone to grow them. And then let's just jump over here real quick to look at the Catasetum column. They're all in growth. Everyone has come back. They're all rooting well, maturing their growths. I've got 1 spike here getting ready to open any day. I'll do an update when we start getting some more flowers, but I'm really happy with how everyone's growing and doing. I got another spike. So not too many spikes yet, just a couple spikes, but lots of growth. Been giving them lots of water, lots of fertilizer several times a week, and so far so good. So I decided to split the video into 2 parts. So if you want to see what's blooming on the inside, tune in.